My name is Guy Curwen. Rainbear is the result of about 30 years of scheming and planning. We started the boat in 1998 and launched it in 2020. So 22 years of building. It took twice as long as we planned, cost twice as much. Well, actually not quite twice as much, but more than we expected. Yeah, and we launched it in the middle of a pandemic, which was kind of boring, actually. The boat is all wood, traditionally built, double planked red cedar on Gary oak ribs. The backbone is yellow cedar, and then the structure above, most of the structure is fir with traditional West Coast fish boat fir decks, and no fiberglass. Well, we're on deck. The boat is a Gaff Cutter, so it has two head sails and a gaff main with a topsail. And one of the interesting features of this boat is it has an English style bowsprit, which is in a stored on deck position now, and when we're under sail we can extend the bowsprit out and give us an extra 10 feet of sail area forward. Altogether 1,100 square feet of sail, and that's on a 38-foot sailboat, well 37 and a half. The mast is 57 feet, clear Sitka spruce, and it's hollow, so it's constructed with a bird's mouth structure, and the inside is sealed in epoxy, and we ran unidirectional carbon fiber roving up the inside to stiffen it. We had the boat designed so that the rig was what you would put on a racing cutter. We really went heavy on sail area because of the lack of wind around here in the summertime. If you want to go sailing, you got to have sails. From the inside out, we have yellow cedar ceiling. We have an inch of insulation, and then it's double planked in red cedar in diagonal, and then a fore and aft in fir, which is the exposed deck. The rigging is done in 3-strand Vectran, which is, I guess, in the same category as Dyneema, except that Dyneema has the ability to creep. Vectran, once you set it up, it's locked. It doesn't move at all. We were really fortunate. We got the Vectran, and we actually designed the rig with the assistance of Brian Toss down in Port Townsend. That was one of the really nice occurrences of this build, was meeting the people that popped up when we needed them, and Brian was one of them. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back down this side. Okay, well, this is the aft deck and cockpit. We've got, we got some normal features. This is the unusual part. We've planned the boat to be used for extended cruising and live aboard. So this gives us basically a basement. So a good place to store stuff out of the way. And the other feature is we have the ability to bring the tender up over the stern and store it up here rather than on the foredeck, which is in the way of all the foresails. And towing it is not a problem, but when you go into a marina, it's nice to be able to pull the boat dinghy out of the water and store it on deck. Well, this is the outside steering, and we have a helm on the inside in the wheelhouse. Well, now we're in the wheelhouse, in the galley and dinette, and we have a forward steering station here, but this is kind of where we live on the boat, is in the wheelhouse. It's got windows all around, it's up high so that you've got some vista, all the windows open so there's good ventilation. Yeah, wonderful place to hang out. The idea with the windows was to be able to open them all up so that we've got lots of airflow, and it's a real simple. That's how you put them down. Yeah. Well, I mean, who designs this stuff the first time? Everything most of the interior and these sort of details, yeah, they're all mine. You know, I've been building and involved with boats since the early 70s, and with 22 years building time, I had lots of time to think about things. And so in the interior, we have a fair amount of bright work, just about every wood you can imagine on Vancouver Island, and that's where all the wood has come from. All the wood was harvested. Most of it was salvage, cut by small mills, and that's fir in the Wheelhouse. As we get into the steering station, and then down below we have a lot of Gary oak, which was left over from making the ribs. We've got a ceiling that's yellow cedar, beams are fir, windows are fir. The counter and the floor are Pacific Yew, and the table is Broadleaf Maple. We've got a 3-burner 4-stand stove with oven. We've got a fridge and freezer underneath this dinette seat, and storage under this one. Yeah, so the nice thing about the setup in here is the way the backrest is set up is for the dinette, and move it forward and aft, and we've got this inside steering station. We've got a rebuilt Perkins 4108. It was funny, the engine is the one thing that we really didn't want to invest a lot of money in. We'd rather put the money in the sails and other things. And with a used Perkins, it's just an old basic diesel engine that we can fix or we can have fixed wherever we are. Nothing complicated. We will be putting solar panels in. We've got the wiring all ready to go. That's one of our winter projects, hopefully this winter. As well, we're putting in a bow thruster. This is a big, heavy, full keel boat, and the way marinas are laid out nowadays are for boats that have very good maneuverability, which in reverse this boat doesn't have. So the bow thruster will help us with docking. Okay, well this is down into the main cabin down below. To starboard we have the head, to port we have a berth. Forward of that we have the space heater, and then a couple of love seats, and then the forepeak up forward. Everywhere is storage. Yeah, it's we've made use of all the space. One of the other features in this boat is that there is nowhere behind a bulkhead that's closed off for ventilation. Everything is open. Yeah, if there's going to be a smell, I'd rather know about it sooner rather than later. We have a really nice carving on the head door that was done by Haida carver Chris Paul, who's over in Pat Bay. The door is yellow cedar. Yeah, and the carving's yellow cedar. Shower drain into a sump pumps overboard. We have an engine room access hatch here. This is the mechanical wall. So this is underneath the dash in the steering station. This is all the wiring, all the major plumbing comes to here. We have the ability to go from holding tank to straight overboard, so that gives us an option there. And then for the head, we've got both freshwater supply and saltwater. Freshwater, we've got 1,400 liters, and fuel, we've got about 480 liters of fuel. It'll take us a ways. Yeah, we haven't put a water maker in because of the storage. Yeah, it hasn't been a problem so far, although who knows about the future. So this is the Dickinson Lofton space heater, which we've installed an external air vent to supply air into it so that we're not using internal air. A little feature that we've added to it. And then forward of that, a couple of love seats with hanging locker for clothes in behind. So this is the V-berth in the forepeak. Pretty basic. Forward of that is the chain locker. We carry 250 feet of chain. So that's a good place for that stored. A couple of side tables here. We've got the two port lights there, which make it really nice at night. You can have the port lights open. You can basically see at your pillow height, see out them. Know what the conditions are, and yeah, fresh air. Okay, so this is the engine room. It's a Perkins 4108. Fellow that owned it rebuilt it to put into his boat and then got an inheritance, so decided to buy a new engine. I bought the rebuild. Well, okay, thanks for coming. I really enjoyed showing the boat to you people, and if you see us on the water, come say hi.